If those of you who want to run a business and therefore you feel obligated to answer, how much time are we wasting every day picking up the phone for some stupid robocall? Well, I've got a solution that might surprise you.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Welcome back to the program, everybody. I don't know about you, but I get so many spam calls every day. You know what I'm talking about? Your phone rings and you don't know the number. You're thinking, man, there's an appraisal order for me, right? You pick up the phone and it's, I tell you, their tactics have changed. Those of you, any of you who have a phone know what I'm talking about, right? I have so many warrants out for my arrest. I have so many Social Security complaints against me that I don't know how I'm a free man. I want to pause here and remind you we are sponsored, of course, by ANOW Software. ANOW is the software that allows you to be able to do a lot more than you're doing now because your entire office is taken care of with ANOW Software. Don't know what I'm talking about? Check it out. Go to their demo. Go to anow.com/coach. One more time, it's anow.com/coach and schedule your free demo today. All right, folks, multiple times per day. I'm talking literally, I would say it's between 5 and 10 a day. Not a week, a day. I get these stupid calls from unknown numbers. Now, the new tactic is they're going to call you from your area code. I hate that, right? Because then you think it's a potential homeowner, a customer, a borrower. Okay, so it needs to talk to you about an appraisal. Maybe it's a realtor that has a deal for you. Maybe it's a local bank, right? It doesn't show up on your caller ID, and you're thinking, oh, it's a 208 number. I'm in the 208 area code. It must be somebody local. And you pick it up, and it's not. You know what I'm talking about, right? This is driving me nuts. How do you get rid of it? Well, some of you are going to say, well, Dustin, aren't you on the do not call registry? Yeah, I am. And guess what? Just before this podcast, I've had, well, let me just pull it up. I'll tell you exactly. I mean, literally 2 seconds before I started this podcast, I had another one. I have received, I'm just pulling it up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've received 6 spam calls as of 8 o'clock this morning, by the way, and it's only 12:23 p.m. as I'm recording this. So in 4.5 hours, I've received that many spam calls today. And yes, I am on the do not call registry. It is absolutely worthless. I don't even know why they have it. I did check before I started this episode to make sure that my number is still on there because, maybe it expires, right? Maybe it's been too long since I updated it. No, it's still on. I have no clue how these people are getting through, but what do you do about it? Right? If those of you who want to run a business and therefore you feel obligated to answer, how much time are we wasting every day picking up the phone for some stupid robocall? Well, I've got a solution that might surprise you as soon as we come back from the break. Another thing that might surprise you is how much more efficient you can be as a business owner with ANOW Software. Folks, about 3 years ago, I think it was about 3 years ago, maybe about 3.5 years ago, I started using ANOW Software. I will be honest with you, I was a bit skeptical at first. Okay, this ability to be able to change from what I was already using, which honestly was working just fine. And I've got this salesman on the line telling me, no, this is better. And every question I asked, it was just like, yeah, okay, I can kind of see how that's slightly better, but really, I'm going to switch my whole system over just, to tweak this and to tweak that. I mean, really convince me here, right? By the way, ANOW Software has improved dramatically since I first started using it. But I will tell you that within just a couple of months, I was super glad I switched over to ANOW Software. I have not looked back. It has been a wonderful, wonderful blessing for my business. It will be for yours as well. Check them out. Go to anow.com/coach and get 3 free months. That's a whole quarter of my all-star team free by going to anow.com/coach. One more time, it's anow.com/coach. All right, folks, welcome back. We're talking about spam calls today. Don't you love it? You love it when that phone rings, right? I don't know about you, but when the phone rings, I think, well, maybe that's a potential job. Maybe that's cha-ching money in my pocket, right? So you don't want to ignore those calls, or do you? Folks, here's my solution, okay? Not every one of you is going to be able to do this, but I'm big on the law of delegation, right? And years ago, I switched all of my business calls over to a business line, which is not my cell phone. Okay, I slowed way down and made that dramatic for you so that you really get it, okay? Too many appraisers are still using their cell phone as their business line. I know it seems like, yes, there are apps out there that you can get. There are ways that you can block certain calls. I know, in fact, just this morning, I actually received the same phone call probably 10 times yesterday from the same number, okay? I never got it, never once. I know it's spam. Okay, what I did was I went into my iPhone and I hit that little I button on the missed calls, okay, the little information button, and then you can just scroll down at the bottom. You can hit block this caller. I don't know if there's a limit, but I finally blocked that call. I could not believe how often they were calling, like multiple times a day. Ridiculous, right? So there's ways around this, okay, but most of them are pretty arcane. Here's my solution. My solution is I never am tempted to get a phone call that is from an unknown number. Why? Because I have no chance of that being potential money in my pocket. And frankly, I don't care about anything else. If you're a friend, if you're a family member, and I don't have you in my cell phone, okay, there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. And if it's really important, leave a message. That's what voicemails are for, right? I will check my voicemail. I will. And what I won't do is return calls. When, in fact, on my voicemail, if you had my personal cell phone number, which you don't, if you had it, you would get a little message. Very nice, very professional. But if you want a call back, please leave a message. I just don't return calls from unknown numbers. I don't even return calls from known numbers, believe it or not, unless it's my wife, of course. But I don't recall. If you don't leave a message, don't expect a call back. If you just call, you expect me to look at it and go, oh, I got a missed call from George. I'm not going to pick up the phone and call George. If it's important enough for me to call you back, it's important enough for me to leave a voicemail. But here's the solution to spam calls, folks. Don't be tempted to pick up unknown numbers because your secretary can do it for you. Let me repeat that. Don't be tempted to pick up unknown numbers because your secretary can do it for you. Your receptionist can do it for you. Your VA can do it for you. If you have separated your business line and your personal line, you don't ever have to deal with spam calls because you simply just let them go to voicemail. Who cares? It's not business anyway. Now, it will take you some time to transfer that over. If you, for years and years and years, have used your cell phone as your business line, okay, you've got to make a separation. By the way, I would recommend that you actually get a new personal number and that you leave your business number as your same number and transfer it over to your VoIP system or to another cell phone or whatever, okay? But that you get somebody to answer that phone for you. We as business owners don't have time to answer phones. We don't. I've said this before. I'll say it again. I talk to maybe one or two people a month. Let me repeat that. I talk to one or two people a month. So for those of you who say, well, they call and they want me, they ask for me. Yeah, they do me too. But guess what? All my assistant has to say is, I'm his assistant. How can I help you? And guess what? 99.9% of the time they can. By the way, that's a real number. Statistically, I've tracked it. It's 99.9. No, not really, but literally we get multiple calls a day and maybe one or two a month do I need to actually return. Folks, I would consider it if you're dealing with these stupid spam calls, these stupid junk calls, consider changing your number over. I can teach you how to do that. We've talked about it multiple times actually in the Appraiser Academy. The Appraiser Academy can be found online. It's a meeting once a month. It's live, it's interactive. That means you're meeting live with other appraisers across the country. It is absolutely a fabulous meeting. Would love to have you there. Go to theappraisercoach.com/memberships and check out the Appraiser Academy today.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
go to theappraisercoach.com/products or memberships rather. Sorry, editor, back up.